Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. Did you miss me? I was away on holiday for 4 days, come back, a bit of a sore throat, but Inter, man, they kept me on my phone. News popping off left, right, and center, and we'll get into it today. Perisic, Lukaku, Dybala, Mkhitaryan, Sensi. My goodness, so much to cover off today. And before we get into all the news, make sure you're leaving a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. Now, let's go with the latest Inter news. Yes, guys, welcome back on the channel. As I said, super busy week of news in the world of Inter. These guys always keep us busy, even though the season is over, but the mercato is never over. And the first news we got to cover off, obviously, Ivan Perisic, Ivan Il Terribile, is gone. His adventure at Inter is over. His contract has expired and he's leaving on a free. And he's going to Spurs. He's going to Antonio Conte, our old coach, of course. And actually, the day after Antonio Conte signed at Spurs, I made a reaction video and I predicted this, as you can see here. Surprise one that maybe people haven't thought about. Even Perisic, because of, again, his expiring contract. Yes, he's 32 years old, but we've seen with Conte, he doesn't really care about age. It looks like he doesn't want to renew his contract, unlike Brozovic, who is looking to renew his contract. Perisic apparently, reportedly, has said that he doesn't want to renew his contract. He wants to try something different. He's wanted a move to the Premier League in the past. He was very close to Arsenal, Man United. So Spurs, I can see Spurs being finally his move into the Premier League. I mean, I thought, it's a pretty easy prediction to make at that time in November. Perisic wasn't at these MVP levels that he hit. Of course, this season he has hit those MVP levels, but at that time he was, doing well, and his contract was expiring. There was no, talks of Perisic. There was no talks of Perisic renewing this contract or Inter making him an offer. And, I thought if Conte actually manages to stay at Spurs longer than till the end of the next season, then he'll actually probably get Perisic, and this is what has happened. And there's two sides to the story. Of course, I'm disappointed to see Perisic leaving. As again, you guys know, been watching my channel this season, he's my undisputed MVP. And he actually probably deserves a video of his own, Perisic. You know how I've made the story of Brozovic video on my channel. He probably deserves a story of Perisic video as well, because his has been an up and down career at Inter as well. Probably not as much as Brozovic, but it has been an interesting story. When he first came, Perisic, I was really hyped. One of my favorite kind of signings of the banter era, because we always, for a long time, we lacked such a athletic, strong, direct. I just loved how direct Perisic was. I used to watch him for Croatia, Wolfsburg, Dortmund before. It's like, why don't Inter ever sign these players, from the Bundesliga? And we finally did. He was good, but not always that consistent. Towards the first part of his career at Inter, he put in a transfer request, and I keep always reminding this to people. I tweeted this out. This guy's always wanted a Premier League experience. He wanted Arsenal first, who came calling for him at one point, and he put in a transfer request, which he was left out for a match after that. And then, when Mourinho came and United came, he also wanted to go there. And you could see in some of the pictures in that summer that he was putting up, a sad face, moping around. And even in his previous career before Inter, he's never been a loyal guy. He pushed through to come to Inter from Wolfsburg. He's gone to Belgium, France. This guy's traveled all over the place. And the Premier League was the last place to tick off on his list. So fair play to Ivan Perisic. And in the end, that is the decision that he made, because in the end, Inter did pretty much match the offer that he's getting at Spurs. 6 million net he's going to get at Spurs. And at Inter, we offered him 5 million plus the 1 million in bonuses. Performance related would have taken him to 6. So in the end, he is not left for money, I wouldn't say. I think he was attracted by Conte, of course, the guy who he worked with, the Premier League that he's always wanted, and Spurs is becoming a very attractive project. We can't lie, even though we like to banter Spurs, and he will be missed. But at the end of the day, this is what we signed Robin Gosens for. And even then, in my video with Nima, the day that we signed Gosens, that was my prediction, that the fact that we signed Gosens, to me, shows that, Perisic is gone, and this is in the end what's happened. Even though the last few days I was kind of confident that he was going to stay. But yeah, it is what it is. Now it's time for Gosens to step up. Hopefully his injuries are behind him, and then the transfer market now, the importance is to find a backup to Gosens, so not a Perisic replacement per se, but a Gosens replacement, because Gosens was the one who was the Perisic backup. So now we need to find the Gosens of this season. So the names that are being earmarked for that is Destiny Udogie, the Udinese young Italian fullback who's made an impression this season. Very, very impressive. Scored a few goals, very nice goals as well. Definitely one to keep an eye out for. And then the other name is Cambiaso with one S. Although he sounds like Esteban, he is definitely not Esteban. He is a young Italian fullback who can play on both sides. Quite athletic, quite quick, powerful with his legs. Got relegated with Genoa, of course, so he's going to be available and cheap. So those are the two kind of younger profiles, which is probably what I would personally go for in this case. However, the other name is a name that we've been linked for like 3 or 4 years now, which is Filip Kostic. And if you guys have been following me on this channel for the last 2 years, and then when I used to make videos for Sempre Inter, more than 3 years ago, this Kostic has been my guy. He was Perisic before Perisic, because he was that winger that converted into a wing back in his early days at Eintracht Frankfurt. Beautiful left foot, but of course, because he is 30 now, he's a slightly older profile, and Eintracht won around 15 million euros for him. So it's going to be, we're going to have to make a decision on whether we will go for the slightly older profile, Kostic ready-made. But at the same time, if you bring in Kostic, he's not going to come in wanting to be a backup, in my opinion. And Gosens probably doesn't want to be a backup anymore, and Gosens is definitely good enough to be the starting left wing back at Inter. But at the same time, Kostic is more similar to Perisic in terms of chance creation, in my opinion. I think Gosens, as I've said in the past, to me, he's very similar to Dumfries in terms of that he's really good at getting into the box. He's really good in the air. He's good at, finishing as well for a wing back, full back. But he kind of lacks for me in other areas of his game, like 1v1 and technically, whereas I feel Kostic, has got a beautiful crossing ability, athletic, and 1v1 I think is superior as well. But yeah, let's see how those things go on, and you guys let me know, of course, what is your preference for this backup left wing back, or do you feel like we should sell Gosens as well, maybe, and go for just completely new left hand side? Let me know in the comments below. Staying on the Spurs vibe, we've seen, of course, the rumors of Alessandro Bastoni, and I know the fan base is absolutely fuming of these rumors. And once again, it's bloody Antonio Conte. This guy, we knew as soon as he left Inter that he was going to come calling for one of our boys, and now he's coming for multiple of our boys. But basically, he wants to recreate that left-hand side that he had at Inter, Bastoni, Perisic, and we've seen this season how good that left-hand side is, and it's definitely an upgrade on whatever Spurs have right now. And so you can't blame him. And we know Bastoni is such a unique profile in world football. Left-footed, centre-back, young, Italian, actually can defend. So he's not just the modern defender that is just good at playing the ball with his feet. But of course, with the ball at his feet, he is one of the best in the game. Beautiful, calm, classy. And they're Interista. That's usually I'm not too fond of the passion merchant thing, but the guy has San Siro tattooed on his leg. He's named his daughter Azzurra, and he even joked that if he gets another one, he's gonna call her Nera, so Nerazzurri. So those kind of guys, Interisti, are always against selling these types of players. But we know the situation, guys. I've been telling you for more than a year on this channel. As I always say to you, I'm a very realistic person. I never sell fluff to you guys. I never try to hype up things just to get more views on my channel. In my opinion, and this pretty much looks how it's true, that there's going to be some big sale having to be made to make that 50-60 million plus in the transfer market. And the only way that's going to happen, guys, is with a big player. Like, I've seen reports that saying that, Inter might not have to make a big sale because they'll be able to sell Pinamonti, Sensi, Pirola, every other youth player that's under the sun, Dalbert, Lazaro. Okay, De Vrij. Okay, maybe you'll be able to, but we've seen in the previous years, no one's bloody even willing to put money in to buy Dalbert, Lazaro, these types of guys. Usually Italian clubs go in for loan with option or obligation to buy, so it won't be instantaneous anyway. And then if you're gonna buy as well, you have to buy coming in. Let's not forget we sold, Vidal, Vecino, leaving, Sanchez, Ranocchia. So there's lots of outgoings that need to be replaced with players coming in. Bremer deal is in advanced stages according to some sources, and he's going to be definitely a 20 million plus. So if you're going to sell, okay, if you manage to sell those guys for 50-60 million, then you buy someone, and that you still need to make another 30-40 million to get to that magic 50-60 million mark, plus also reduce the wages. So to me, one big guy is going to have to go, and you guys know what the names are, the four main guys that have a market: Skriniar, Bastoni, Barella, Lautaro. And to me, once again, and this is not a slight to Lautaro, you guys know I love Lautaro, although I've been critical of him this past season, but in the end he came through in terms of non-penalty goals and general goal numbers, but I don't think he had that great of a season. And I think still, just like last season, I still think he's the most expendable player in the team. As I said, to me, Bastoni is such a unique profile. I don't see who would be his replacement, whereas with Lautaro, with such a high chance creation team, we've seen even with a finished Edin Dzeko, who's been able to score and contribute over 20 goals, in terms of goals and assists. He's gone over 20. And in terms of the XG we create every season, like under Conte and under Inzaghi, we've maintained a high-level, high-scoring team once again in Serie A, which means that, whichever strike we bring in, as long as he's not, physically finished like Dzeko was in the second half of the season, he should be able to maintain a good level. Whereas with defenders, I just feel like, it's becoming really hard to identify good defenders. However, one name that does crop up as the potential Bastoni replacement, and he's the other name that Spurs are apparently looking for, so clearly Conte is looking for a left-footed centre-back, is Josko Gvardiol from RB Leipzig, young Croatian left-back / centre-back. His name's funny, he sounds almost like a Napoletano, a guy from Napoli trying to say Guardiol. But he's an interesting profile because I said, how rare Bastoni is. I literally can't think of other similar profiles, but Guardiol is pretty much as close as you can get in terms of he's a proper defender, but he's really good on the ball, and he's actually even more physical than Bastoni is in terms of he's much more imposing and athletic than Bastoni is. But apparently his price tag is around 30 to 35 million. So if you sell Bastoni, you're gonna have to invest again a lot of money. So in my opinion, just keep Bastoni, right? But it wouldn't be the end of the world if he is the replacement. Yeah, but Bastoni, as I always say, has to be, if it has to be, which I don't want it to be, but if it has to be, it has to be you getting to that Van Dijk, Maguire level money, because you're not finding another Bastoni out there. So Tottenham have to shell out, and I don't think they will. The team I would see doing it would be Man City, Guardiola, and I think again he would fit in great over there. But let's see what happens, guys. Let's see, hoping that Bastoni remains. Staying in England, but it's a very England-centric episode. Lukaku, or Lakaka, as some people like to call him. This guy is twerking for us so bad. He wants to come back so bad. He's pushing for it. He's even set up, meetings himself. And at the moment, he's distanced himself from Pastorello, his agent, who I've said some, bad words about on this channel, especially last summer. And, it seems like Lukaku's finally recognized him for what he is. He made an Instagram post distancing himself from Pastorello, who made some comments about Lukaku recently, saying that, he may be looking to move. And Lukaku was like, don't talk for me, I'll speak for myself. And then now he has hired a lawyer called Sébastien Ledeux who is a Belgian lawyer who's represented Salamakas, De Vries. He's represented other famous sports stars from Holland and Belgium. And apparently he's going to be taking the meeting instead of his agent, and he's going to be trying to find a way to negotiate a way to take Lukaku from Chelsea to Inter. It's going to be super, super difficult, guys, but I've been telling you guys on this channel for a long time, they're going to try. They are going to try to bring Big Rom back. I don't know what you guys make of it, or if you want him back. I've always been of the idea that this guy still kills it and dominates Serie A in terms of what he brings on a physical level. And the only two ways it's going to happen is either he, signs a new deal with Chelsea where he halves his wages and then, Chelsea loan him out to us, or Chelsea loan him out to us with the option to buy, obligation to buy, or just a straight loan. It can't be a 2-year loan anymore because the FIFA has banned the 2-year loan system now. But they have to pay half his wages to us, so we need a big sacrifice from Chelsea in any scenario. They have new ownership in place now, so things are finally sorted out. So there should be some clarity coming with that, whether they want to keep him or not. But they basically have to gift him to us, and it probably is going to be a short-term plug, of the gap that we are missing of that, the hole that he left. But for me, it's a deal that if you're able to do, you have to bring Big Rom back. But you guys let me know in the comments below what you think of that. Parallel to the Lukaku deal, we know Dybala, I've been telling you guys on the channel, from what I understand, that deal is pretty much closed. Dybala, 6-7 million net per year, 3-year deal, is pretty much agreed with him. And there's not that many other offers on the table for Dybala, and apparently he wants Inter, and he knows that Inter is probably the right team for him, especially in the 3-5-2 up front with Lautaro, Correa, or even Lukaku. But Lukaku is the priority for Inter. They're trying to reunite the Lula, or at least bring Lukaku back to Serie A, to Inter. So, but at the same time, I don't think one cancels out the other. I know some people are worried that if we sign Dybala, that means no Lukaku, or no Lukaku, no Dybala. I think if they manage to close both of those deals, someone will have to make space, whether you send out Correa and, loan him out, or you just, send out Dzeko and do what you've been doing with, Vidal and Alexis, who are going to be, rescinding their contracts. So they will make space for those guys, in my opinion, if they manage to close those deals. And speaking of another free transfer deal, Henrik Mkhitaryan looks to be the replacement for Vecino/Vidal. Another free transfer, as I said, 3.5 million net is what Sky Sports, Di Marzio, Pedula are reporting, the agreed deal. And it looks like, this is another one that's almost 90-95% done. In the coming weeks, I think we'll see Henrik Mkhitaryan as an Inter player. I want to hear your thoughts about Mkhitaryan. I don't think it's a bad deal. He is 33 years old. I would have preferred a much younger profile coming in. But at the same time, he's one of those guys who seems like he's kept himself in good shape. He's not injury prone. And he does bring that ball carrying midfielder ability. He's converted himself into more of a Mezzala this season under Mourinho. So similarly to Hakan, he's made that transition from attacking midfield to Mezzala, kind of a complete midfielder, and I've enjoyed some of his performances this season in that role. So I think, he's a good alternative to Barella and Hakan on a free transfer, which we know Beppe Marotta likes, but I want your opinion on it. Finishing off on Stefano Sensi, who should be one of the midfield options, but apparently he's not going to be. Multiple sources have said that Inter have told Sensi and his agent that he needs to find a new team before the training camp this summer starts, this preseason starts, which sounds really harsh. Even though he managed to kind of keep himself fit at Sampdoria, which I thought that was the whole point of this loan. But at the same time, this loan has shown to teams that this guy can stay fit. So please just buy him off us. As a big Sensi fan, I am sad that looks like how things are ending with him. But at the same time, we can't have, if Inzaghi doesn't trust him physically anymore or on a technical level, it's best to just cut ties and get as much as you can for Stefano Sensi. And the teams interested apparently are, one of them is Monza, the newly promoted team from Serie B, owned by Berlusconi and ran, sporting director Adriano Galliani, former AC Milan duo. And apparently they want Sensi So hopefully, they have a bit of money to spend, so maybe they do buy Sensi. Let's see what happens, who's interested in them. Speaking of Monza, they actually, because of their promotion, they have to buy the goalkeeper that they have at the moment, Di Gregorio, who's our youth player, or used to be a youth player. They have to pay us 4 million euros for him. And the other one of the centre backs that they have, Lorenzo Pirola, they have an option to buy with him for 7 million, and apparently we have a buyback option on that of 7.5 million. So hopefully, that comes through as well. That's an easy 10 million there, maybe 20 if you add in Sensi. But yeah, those were pretty much the main topics to talk about today. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, but I really want to hear about your opinions on everything that's going on. I've been away for a little bit, so I want to get up to date with how my community is feeling about everything that's going on Inter. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you're leaving a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel, and I'll keep you up to date in the coming days. Ciao ragazzi, Forza Inter.